Well, the mutual fund industry in Boston kicked off this year with a smaller share of the market, but there's still some standouts in the city. That includes Putnam Investments. It was ranked #1 in this month's Lipper Barron's Best Mutual Funds issue. And joining us right now is Bob Reynolds. He's the CEO and president of Putnam Investments, and he comes to us from Boston. Bob, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Carol.
All right,
How are you?
I'm well. Congratulations on the ranking.
Thank you very much.
So let me ask you, though, because it is a market, the fund market in general, you guys have been facing a lot of competition from ETFs and index funds. As you know, the flows have been moving in that direction. How do you combat that going forward?
Well, it all comes down to performing for your customers. And I think what's great about the Barron's rating is we ranked very, very high in all asset classes, whether it be equity, fixed income, municipals, U.S., non-U.S. So it was for performance in all asset classes. And I think it all comes down to performance. And as stated, last year was a great year versus index.
But I guess my point is, as you notice probably more than any of us, how the trend among investors is kind of moving away from traditional stock picking and more towards those ETFs and index funds.
Last year, most of the flows in the industry went to fixed income, and they went to actively managed fixed income funds. And historically, active managers have picked up more than ETFs and index funds. And I think that trend will continue. If anything, 2009 showed us is that active management can create tremendous value, and I think you'll see the same thing in 2010.
What do you think about the decline in Putnam's business as far as market share? I mean, you're ranked #1 for sure, but you got 12% from Charlie Stein's story on Bloomberg today, 12% of the $7 trillion market there, down from 21% 10 years ago. Is it just that there's more competition out there?
Yeah, I think it's a fact, too, that the performance that we've demonstrated, there's been a change going on at Putnam. I joined Putnam 18 months ago, and again, in November 2008, we hired 8 fund managers with 15 to 25 years experience, hired 20 analysts, all with broad experience, and really rebuilt the equity. There was some existing talent here, but rebuilt it. And that's the group that's performed so well, along with fixed income and asset allocation.
I wonder about the decline in the business altogether, in the mutual fund business altogether, that Carol's kind of talking about here. Is there a concern that broker commissions and fees are too high, or do you see just sort of a sort of once bitten, twice shy kind of thing as far as baby boomers and equities, the relationship between baby boomers and equities are concerned?
Well, what you see in the industry, there's a tremendous amount of cash on the sideline right now. There's close to $4 trillion in money market funds. There's another $7 trillion in bank deposits. So I think, you know, from flows last year, there were very little flows going into the equity market. I do think that will change this year, especially with the performance that the equity market had last year, and I think you're going to see another good year this year.
Bob, just got about 40 seconds left here. I'm looking at latest fund flow figures from the Investment Company Institute. Last week, for January 27th, the last week, they've got figures. Money went out of equity funds, but the prior 2 weeks, there were big moves into equity funds. I'm curious, what trends are you guys seeing? I mean, we're continuing to see big trends into bond funds according to these numbers. What are you seeing specifically? Anything noticeably different about maybe the retail investor or the institutional investor becoming either more or less upbeat about the market outlook, the equity market in particular?
We're seeing them become more upbeat. We're definitely seeing greater flows into equity funds, but I do think the retail investor especially depends upon a lot on investor confidence, and that's usually what's going on in Washington. And right now, there's not a lot of confidence out there.
All right, we're going to leave it on that note. Bob, thank you so much. Bob Reynolds, he's the CEO and president of Putnam.